What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the second episode of the 135 podcast. It's Thomas and Kaiden back at it again. Really excited about this episode we have. We obviously have to talk about Kobe a little bit, but then we're going to get into the Bachelor, talk Super Bowl picks, college basketball, Grammys, and then we're both going to give you a list of our top 5 athletes of the last decade and this decade, since 2020 is still pretty new.
Yeah, thank you everyone for the awesome support this first week. Really didn't expect all the love that we got, but let's get ready for this episode. Here's our boy, it's Booby.
Pay $1,500 for the shoes if you was asking. Don't get confused cause I'm a school, I blast you. I got a team full of shooters, I'm the captain. Where I try it get cold in Appalachia.
So obviously the events that happened Sunday, the 26th, will be remembered forever. Prayers go out to the families that are involved. Obviously Kobe was a legend, but those other families, they're people too, and we just pray for them for sure and have positive words and vibes going to them. Thomas, what will you remember about Kobe, I guess?
It was, me growing up a Celtics fan. It seemed like it was the Lakers every year in the finals, growing up. But so I was always rooting against Kobe. And then I think it wasn't until after, I grew up a little bit and the Big Three out of Boston split up. And then I really took interest into Kobe and just his whole legacy and, the whole Mamba mentality. You see it everywhere over this last couple of days. Just his, competitive spirit. You don't see that all the time, and it was definitely something to be cherished with him individually.
For sure. And going off that Mamba mentality thing, I think as athletes ourselves, we can both agree that no athlete has shed light on the mental side of being an athlete as much as him, because all the athletes know that being the mental part of the game is very important, almost more important than the physical part. But he shed light on that, and he made it almost to the feeling where any athlete could, if they channel their own version of the Mamba mentality, they could achieve anything they wanted and be as clutch as they wanted and perform as good as they wanted to, if they had that mentality. And for me personally, I always followed Kobe, obviously a staple in the game. I'm a huge basketball fan. And I remember, I'll never forget his last game, the 61 points he had. It was on my birthday in 2016, and I felt so cool at the end of my birthday, just going home, watching him play in his last game, dropping 60 in front of Snoop Dogg and what felt like the whole world watching that game. So prayers out to him. Love Kobe, obviously. And that was a little bit of a sad note, and that's clearly been a cloud that's been covering sports media throughout the last week or so. Exactly, the whole world.
It's been all over.
And we just want this to kind of be a getaway from now. We're going to get right into what I think is arguably the best episode of The Bachelor. Some say in the recent couple of years, shout out my boy Colin, who said it was the best episode in recent Bachelor history. But I think it's definitely the best of the season. So we're going to move on to The Bachelor. And I'm still shook.
Yeah, just to get things, kicked off on a hot note, it was one of the best episodes they have put together, and it's going to be hard for them to top for the remainder of the season.
For sure. I think off gate, they were like, all right, girls, pack your bags, get ready.
We're going to Cleveland!
And then you just hear crickets. They're like, Cleveland. They're all getting excited, and then Cleveland. They drop Cleveland on them. Not the best thing you want to hear, but I think it's clear that the budget wasn't too well for this episode. They brought in Chase Rice, which is cool person to bring in for
a discounted Chase Rice.
It brought in Chase Rice, which probably cost him quite a bit of money. So it's like, all right, we'll just slide to Cleveland. So let's talk about that date with Chase Rice and Victoria F. Pretty insane. The producers are back at it again, scrolling through Instagram, doing their digging, and finding out that this girl had a relationship with Chase Rice, and then bringing him out for the date was insane.
I thought they all handled it pretty well. Victoria, I don't think she really expected. How could you? You walk out, you're on a date, you're in Cedar Point, it's raining, and then ding dong dag, there's Chase Rice, your ex-boyfriend, singing to you while you're having to dance with what could be your future husband.
The dude you just talked to about having how many kids y'all want over a beer.
Yeah, and now here you are dancing, and I think what was a interesting point is she was singing along to every single word to his songs. No, she knew those by heart.
Oh, she knew them. They're probably about her, a couple of them.
Yeah. But then later on that night at dinner, I thought he handled it well. As weird of a situation as that was, I don't think Victoria needed to, take it to all the drastic measures. I think she could have just came out and said hey, this is my ex, I'm done with him, I'm here for you. But instead, she got really emotional, kind of made me second guess her
For sure.
hurt, but
For sure. The way I feel like with that situation she was handling, she could have easily taken advantage of it. And, like, been completely normal about it and been like, hey, like, I used to date Chase, not gonna lie.
I have clout.
But, like, I'm not crying about it now, so it's clear I don't have feelings for him, and I think we can move on from this, and it was completely normal.
I think her reaction came out and said, point blank, I still have feelings for him,
like, just automatically went to the crying, for sure. I definitely would have been suspect. Here, if you were in Peter's shoes, I guess, would you rather it be told after the date or, like, right in the moment? Because I was thinking about this, and I was like, I must be tough to go through a whole date and then, like, you think the day's so great and he was talking about how perfect the day was. Yeah. And at the end, it's like, oh, like, it wasn't perfect for me. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think she handled it all right. I probably would have waited till that night, or at least as to where they were. I mean, obviously they had to wait for the cameras to get back on them. So producer-wise, they were going to wait till the dinner so where they could talk about it. But if I was in that situation, not on TV, I would, dance a couple songs, pull my date to the side and be like, hey, this is what's up. But right after the show, when Victoria and Chase were talking, where was Peter at? I
don't know what happened.
Yeah.
It was very convenient how it went from, like, just Chase and him talking, like, she was kind of hiding, and then, like, she talked to him and, like, Peter wasn't there. But it was clear. Chase came out this week and said, like, he was pretty pissed off about it, and he did not know that was going to happen and wasn't expected. So the producers are definitely pulling some strings. The next thing that happened in the episode was the Bachelor Bowl, which was just insane and probably the hardest I've laughed in front of my TV in a while. Shout out Josh Cribbs being a coach, Madden legend, return specialist legend. Great seeing him.
Browns legend. There's not a lot, but he's a Browns legend.
Oh, for sure. Shout out Victoria P also for playing injured.
Yeah.
Veteran move. Got a back massage. Got to just spend time with Peter while watching.
She definitely finessed the system right there.
The finesse of the episode, if not for the entire season. Yeah. But I think we're about to start a campaign starting now for me and Thomas to host the next Bachelor Bowl and to be the commentators for that. So let's just get that going however we can, because I feel like we need to be on the field next year.
We need to be commentating the Bachelor Bowl for sure. Some hard hits. I was impressed.
They were hitting.
I guess for playing football for so long, I'm so used to just seeing, like, these huge, massive, super strong athletes playing the game. But then to see these just petite, fit, beautiful girls in shoulder pads, helmets, pants. I was like, wow, so that's what they would actually look like.
They were getting smacked.
That was the first time I've seen girls, like, put on some shoulder pads, like, maybe, like, in a couple of Disney episodes, but, like, they were padded out.
It was like Friday Night Tykes, but, like, they stretched them out. Like, they were, like, a little bit bigger. They were just, like, a little bit bigger. And then, like, I remember Hannah Ann was like, I'm scared of getting hit. I'm not going to lie. And then the next shot was just them getting smacked around.
Yeah.
It was great. My MVP, personally, was Cheyenne. Fumbled the first kickoff. Didn't worry about it. Just toted the rock the rest of the time. Got in the end zone. Probably scored every touchdown for her team. She snapped. Definitely my MVP.
Yeah. I thought the game, like, by itself, for them just to go back and forth for, a couple quarters there, and then the whole Victoria playing injured thing, I knew that would get under the girls' skin because they weren't the ones out there getting rocked, but, she got the back massage, so clearly she's the winner. But
she's the real winner. Even though, especially since it ended up in a tie.
Yeah. The
last play, Kelly to DeAndre to tie the game. Probably the best play in that stadium this year for the Browns.
It's up there. It's got to be up there.
It's definitely up there. But Victoria's definitely the MVP. When they went to the date, everyone was at the date because it was a tie game. And then Victoria F with another boss move, just taking Peter off the gate. Like, yo, I'm about to talk to you. Can I talk to you?
Come here, Pete.
The other girls are sitting there with, like, their knees wrapped up and, like, ankles hurt. Maybe a little concussion. They were pretty mad about that, but then they thought they were mad until Alea pulled up and made it way, way, way worse. I just want to ask you, whose story do you believe on this side, Alea or Victoria F? Because there's clearly a miscommunication. Alea is talking like, oh, we went to Vegas together, we did this and that together, we definitely know each other, and Victoria F is like, nah.
Victoria P?
Is it P? Oh, Victoria P. That's me.
I mean, no, there's two Victorias. They need to cut that out. All the women who want to be on The Bachelor, quit doing double names. That's the producer's fault. That's not on you, buddy. That's not on you. That's on the producers.
Appreciate that. But yeah, their stories definitely weren't straight. She said she knew her for 3 hours. So whose side are you taking on this?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to Vegas with just anyone. So
that's a 3-hour flight by itself normally for most places.
Yeah, so I think there's got to be more to the story than we're getting from both sides. Why Alea didn't bring that up before she got kicked off, I don't know.
Good question.
Why she went home and decided to come back until I don't know that either.
Producer magic.
I've liked Victoria all the way up to this point. Is she
A
did give me
liar?
she did give me a little she did give me a little skepticism though in this whole situation, and I don't think Peter made a good decision bringing Alea back. I don't think it was. It was really good for the viewers. It was not good for the girls, and it wasn't good for Peter's head.
And then he gave her the rose.
Ambitious.
After all the girls played in that football game and they were already upset.
That's messed up. Those girls are out there, literally like
putting their bodies on the line.
Bodies on the line, like trying to get some extra time. And here you are, this girl who you sent home last week comes back, says something may or may not be true, and then you reward her. I don't know. That's what's wrong with society.
That was wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
It's like the whole participation trophy thing.
And then as soon as she gets the rose, it just turned into the roast of Peter. All the girls, as soon as they saw him next, they did not complain or hesitate to give it to him and just tell him that he was messed up.
But good for them. But good for them. Because I think the problem that has been with The Bachelor and The Bachelorette over the last couple of years, and really the show in general, whoever's been the Bachelor or Bachelorette, everyone's been kissing their butt and doing everything they can to, get more time, get a rose, keep moving on like a tournament, and just doing everything you can to please this person rather than, you got to communicate on both sides.
For sure. And this group initially was like crying and stuff about a lot of their issues, like in their own camera segments and stuff. But I feel like this time they really came out and was like, listen, like we have a problem with this, and it's all because they want more time with Peter, which is definitely the point of the show, and this Alea girl's definitely taking up most of the time.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot of girls left, but there are.
Yeah.
Like, what are we at? Like, still 15 girls or so?
I don't know, but there's a lot of them we don't know a lot
there's
of.
There's a lot
of girls are taking up a lot of time.
Exactly, because like you and I would be watching the show and we'll just be like, who's that?
Who's that?
Who's that? I mean, she could win.
Even Kelsey was on the date. I was like, I didn't know this person was even on the show.
Exactly.
Kelsey's date went great, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like, there's definitely the least important dramatic part of this episode. But good for her. Did a little driving. Good for that. But
representing Iowa well after the whole champagne incident.
She bounced back from the champagne incident for sure.
As well as you could.
And then Alea stirs the pot again, bringing up the Chase Rice drama to the rest of the house, and they didn't know it, and then it left on a cliffhanger. So we'll see what happens next. I mean...
There is one detail that was missed, I think, by the whole universe, and that is Peter trying to shoot a freaking basketball at the end of the episode.
Oh, that wasn't it.
Who raised that kid?
That wasn't
Someone needs to get punched.
That
was the most cringeworthy thing I've seen since Elijah Drink was drinking 15 Mountain Dews during a practice. Honestly. That was bad.
He missed a shot.
Who was giving buckets? Was it Victoria?
Yeah.
Victoria was...
She was cashing out. There was no one at the park, so no pressure other than the rest of America watching it. But yeah, that wasn't Peter. All right, we're going to move on from the Bachelor Bowl to the game this week in the Super Bowl. Don't know if it's going to live up to the hype, but we'll see. I've been conflicted all week on who to pick. I think this is one of the closest matchups we've ever had. I don't think there's a clear standout favorite by far. The Vegas line has moved a little bit here and there, but not too much. Who do you pick to win this game, and tell me why?
Trying to get away from the bias because obviously brother-in-law works for the Chiefs. I have ties, would love to see them win for him, for my sister.
Respect.
I'm a Midwest guy, probably going to pull for the Chiefs regardless. Like Andy Reid as a coach. I think the 49ers defense wins championships. I would not be shocked if the 49ers win. However, I'm going with the Chiefs because I think Patty Mahomes brings it home. I think he plays the game of his life. I think he puts the team on his back as he's done many times before. I think this time he just does it in the Super Bowl.
Mahomes brings it home. I have a lot of the same conflicts you did for sure. My eyes tell me Mahomes. Like when you watch Mahomes play, it's like this dude can't lose.
Yeah.
But my heart tells me Chiefs though, because I'm a defensive guy, or my heart tells me 49ers because defense wins championships historically, like you said. But I feel like in the direction the league is going, and we're going away from that. But I think historically, if you still look at it, even in these big games, defense does win championships, and the 49ers offense may be better than the San Francisco offense, but I think their defense is better than them, and I have to stick to that pick. Like I have to stick to my guns, and 49ers, I think the 49ers are going to win, and if I'm wrong, then this is probably going to be the first of many for Mahomes, and I wouldn't even be mad about it.
Yeah, I think there's a couple key points for each side. For the 49ers, I think Bosa has to have the game of his life. I think the Chiefs are going to come out and say, we can run the ball. We can. Damian Williams is a good enough back. He's a good enough back. He's not a superstar, but he's a good enough back.
That front is not playing, bro. And
I know. I think Bosa has to have the game of his life. I think the Chiefs front seven has to play. The 49ers front seven have to play extremely well. But I think the Chiefs come out with a quick game where Patrick Mahomes can get confidence early, get the ball out to his playmakers. He's got speed, McCole Hardman. He's got speed, Tyreek Hill. And he's got a big at-time athlete with Sammy Watkins and Travis Kelce. I think he gets the ball out of his hands early, slows down that pass rush, and that's how the Chiefs are able to be effective on offense. And I think the Chiefs' defense has to give them enough chances. Obviously, the 49ers can't score every possession because the 49ers' defense is going to be scored on every possession.
Yeah. I think I see what you're saying with their game plan. If the Chiefs come out and do that, it's going to be great for them. But I think in every Super Bowl and every playoff game and really every big game, there's like a moment where it's just like there's just that moment of tension. And I feel like in the moment of tension for the 49ers, I feel like they play complementary ball. So if the offense put the defense in a bad position, they'll complement each other and vice versa. Versus I think with the Chiefs, I feel like they rely so much on Mahomes. I feel like if the defense messes up a little bit, gives up a couple easy ones, I feel like that's going to put a lot of pressure on Mahomes. Yeah. And I feel like that pressure is in this moment is going to be make or break because it's the Super Bowl. So I feel like I could see that happening more. Yeah. Because I just feel like they're asking so much of him to run that offense versus the 49ers have their run game. They have weapons out wide too, and I feel like they're more complimentary. I feel like the more complimentary team more often than not wins the Super Bowl in this big moment.
I see that, but then again, I see you look at that Houston Texans game and they're down 24-0, and I'm like, holy crap, like what is happening? Who saw this coming? And then, I go get a sub sandwich and I come back and they're up 28-24. So that offense can score fast. They don't have the home field crowd that they've had in the last two games. But I think it's gonna be a neck and neck game the entire time.
My other thing is while you were getting that sub sandwich, like the Houston defense was getting a sub sandwich, and I feel like the 49ers aren't gonna be going for that. They're gonna be there 10 toes down, ready to play.
I'm a hoagie.
So that's my pick. That's Thomas's pick. We're gonna move on to college basketball. I know.
What's going on?
Big surprise. College basketball obviously isn't what it used to be because Zion's gone. It's definitely I've never seen one player affected one level of play like this. He left and all interest was pretty much lost, I feel like, in college basketball. Thomas, if you had to guess out of our listeners, how many of them do you think could name the top 3 or top 5 teams in the nation just based off of
I was shocked. I mean, when we decided that we wanted to do a college basketball segment, I looked up the top 25 and I was like, what? San Diego State at 4? They have a basketball team? Like, what happened?
For those who don't know, number 1, Baylor. Probably didn't expect that. Number 2, Gonzaga. Number 3, Kansas. Number 4 is San Diego State.
Is this women's?
No, it's men's. It does sound like it. And 5 is Florida State. So it's definitely been shaken up a little bit. I think it's a direct effect of Zion leaving, and I think it's also a direct effect of those perennial teams we see, the Dukes and all those teams, the North Carolinas, not being as good, not being as fun to watch. There's not that many key players to watch, and I feel like that's why college basketball is taking a little bit of a backseat this year. A ton of upsets, which is great.
All over the place, but at this point, I mean, it was huge like in the first 2 months of basketball, but now we're to the point anyone's literally has beaten anyone.
Yeah.
I think the Big Ten's probably been the most impressive. They got like 6 or 7 teams ranked.
Yeah.
And the ACC's been a disappointment. They only have 3 teams ranked.
And it's not the teams you'd expect either.
No.
Florida State in there, yeah.
Florida State, Louisville. Yeah. I mean, Louisville, traditional good program. Duke, obviously, they're going to be around there. But then North Carolina, I mean, growing up, 40 minutes, I'm in heaven. I don't like Carolina. I never have liked Carolina. They don't have a scorer. Cole Anthony out. They don't have a scorer.
I think you could argue, like, in all of basketball, James Wiseman, he had a situation he can't play. Cole Anthony, like, LaMelo Ball chose not to play in college. I feel like a lot of the people we grew up seeing, not grew up, but, like, we saw them as high school seniors shining. Yeah. Now it's their time to be in college. We're not even really seeing them play, truly. And I feel like that's another thing that they're lacking is that star power for sure.
Yeah, I think the only personality that's going to be able to bring, college basketball back, I hope Bronny decides to go to college, because I think that'll be the same situation with Zion. Because he'll be must-watch TV. I'm sure he will.
For sure. He already is. They have Sierra Canyon games on ESPN Plus and ESPNU and all that. So I think he could definitely save it. But I think even at the point when he makes it to that age.
You think he can make the jump?
I think that the rule is going to be gone, right? I think they said the rule is probably on its way out, the one-and-done rule. So he might not even have to play in college. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see if he can save them. It's definitely been crazy regular season. If you look at the numbers, 14 out of the top 5 teams. There's been 14 losses, already. From top 5 teams from unranked opponents, most ever. And then there's been 64 losses from top 25 teams who've lost to unranked opponents. I'm going to give a little tournament team that I think people should look out for. Seton Hall is ranked number 10 right now, for those who don't know it. They always put a good team out. They always have a team in the tournament playing, but they have Miles Powell who's arguably going to be the player of the year if you look on the watch list and things like that. But I love him. Every tournament team, I think, needs a guy like that. I think you have a similar effect that Ja Morant had for his team last year in the tournament, but I think he's surrounded by a couple better weapons. So I think they're better off and better tested and prepared for the tournament. Their only losses are all credible. They lost to Michigan State, a solid team, and an Oregon team, both by 2 and 3 points.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be straight. Iowa State team they lost to, which was at home, and that's a tough place to play always. And then a Rutgers team who's now ranked. Rutgers is at 25, in case you're wondering.
Big Ten, man, tough conference.
And Miles Powell didn't even play in that game, the second half, because he had a concussion. So that's my tournament team to look out for, Seton Hall. Keep an eye on them.
Yeah, I think this tournament could go any which way, as it always does. But this year especially, I mean, I couldn't even tell you. Usually, like, by now, you can figure out who's going to be the 4 number ones, or at least 3 of the 4 number ones. I have no idea who's going to be a 1 seed right now. Baylor and Kansas, they're going to be going back and back, being in the Big 12.
For sure.
One of them's not going to win the Big 12. So you would think, do both of those get 1 seeds? I'm not sure. But I think a team that you have to watch out for, and I'm going to say it.
Go ahead. Just give them what they want.
The Iowa Hawkeyes. Traditionally not a tournament team. However, this year, I've watched them more than any other team, naturally, because I'm a Hawkeye fan. But
there's no bias going on
with college
here.
Basketball, as wild as it is, they have a potential player of the year in Luka Garza. That dude's 7 feet.
He's nice.
Doesn't know how to run, but he gets up and down the floor fine. He doesn't know how to run, but he can get up and down the floor enough. I think he's still averaging 20 and 10, mid-season player of the year. I don't know. As hard as the Big Ten is, they could get stumped in the first round or probably get the first round bye, losing the round of 8, and then, catch cold right at the tournament time. But the thing traditionally in college basketball, it's always been about who's hot at the right time.
For sure.
And it's going to be fun to watch.
Garza's good for sure. I just think when you look into the tournament and the history of the tournament, like those bigs, a lot of those bigs kind of just like become complacent in the tournament. So that's my only worry with him. And I think you're definitely right. I think the conference championship tournaments for each conference are going to be super interesting this year. And it's going to be kind of the same way it is now. I see a lot of upsets happening, and it's going to pave the way and set for what the tournament's going to be like. And I think there's a potential that this could be the maddest March ever that we've seen, just because the regular season's already been mad enough. So I'm definitely excited about that. Looking forward to building brackets and seeing people's brackets, because I think it's going to be great. We're going to move on now to the Grammys, a little pop culture. My first take from the Grammys off gate was I think Alicia Keys might be a little too talented to even be the host of the Grammys. Like, she was singing, doing her thing, and it was like, all right, this might be the best performance I've seen yet. But she definitely did her thing. It was clearly Billie Eilish's year. She took home most of the awards. Thomas is pretty hurt about it because he doesn't know exactly who Billie Eilish is.
The girl with the skunk hair. I mean, Billie Relish. That's what she got, relish on her hair.
Billie Eilish?
Yeah.
She's legit. You're living under a rock. Most people know who that is, and she had a breakout
I'm sure
year.
most people know who it is, but I don't know, man. Good for her. Great for her. That's all I'm going to say about that. Great, good for her.
Listen, her
Congrats.
music, what she's doing right now with her bro Phineas, what they're doing right now is so...
Phineas?
His name's Phineas.
Where's Ferb?
Lord knows.
Okay.
But what they're doing right now with music is they're doing something that's so different and it's so popular that you just can't deny it. She's the most popular artist out right now, and they're doing something completely different than everybody else. So you have to give it to them. The best performance I saw from the Grammys, I didn't watch every single one. I know Demi Lovato had her little emotional thing, which was cool, and she did her ballad pretty much of what she was going through in that song. But Old Town Road performance was fire. I don't know if you saw it, but it was legit. I'm not gonna lie. I fell off the Old Town Road thing a long time ago. I was tired of hearing the song pretty early.
Yeah.
And I thought I was tired of hearing it until I saw that performance. The set was amazing. Did you see it?
No, I did not. I've seen them perform it a couple times, though.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to just...
Because the song's been out for 8 years.
I've been waiting to tell... I was hoping you didn't see it just so I could describe what it looked like. So the set, it started off and he was playing a guitar by himself and
Billy Ray?
No, Nas X. Just wait. Billy Ray's coming.
Nas is playing the guitar.
No, the dude who sings the song.
Oh.
Anyways, the dude who sings the song, just for you, was playing it, starting the song off, just playing it on his guitar. It looks like he's in a living room, and he starts singing the song, and it's cool, whatever. And then the living room starts spinning. The whole stage is a living room, and it starts spinning.
Tornado.
And then he opens, it's a slow spin.
Oh, okay.
He opens the door, and then it's this boy band. I forgot, there's some...
Boys Who Cry.
No, it's a Korean boy band. I'm not a big fan of them. They
the
sang
dudes with all the weird haircuts?
Yeah, those dudes.
Okay.
So he sang a little rendition with them. It was all right. Wasn't a huge fan of them. They performed on New Year's Eve, and I'm not into the K-pop thing, but it was whatever.
Korean pop?
Yeah, he sang with them and they danced though, and it was pretty cool. Then the thing spins again, and then they open the door and it's another room, but it's like a green slime room with a skull, and he starts spitting Young Thug's verse on Old Town Road, the remix. I was like, it would have been great to see Young Thug, not gonna lie. Gonna talk about him a little bit more later. But he starts snapping Young Thug's first. Like, okay, this is kind of hype. Door spins again, opens the door. It's our boy Mason Ramsey.
She loves me for my twang.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Mason's in there. Lil Hank.
I wish I saw
Lil
this.
Hank, you gotta watch it after this. Lil Hank goes in there. They start doing their version of the remix.
Big Ramsey fan.
They start singing it. And then like just when I think it's like over, Billy Ray gets his own spotlight, and Billy Ray spits his verse and starts going crazy. It was iconic. And then just when I thought it was over, like that's every version of Old Town Road possible, the actual rapper Nas comes out and does a remix of something, and Lil Nas is singing in the back, and they're like, Big Nas, Lil Nas, and they're both rapping. It was tight. I'm pretty sure dude pulled out a trumpet while Nas was rapping at one point and started playing the trumpet. It was insane. If you haven't looked it up, you should look it up. But I definitely think that was the best performance I saw. Lizzo, I snapped too. Shout out to her, honorable mention.
She was good. Not a huge Lizzo fan, obviously. Not my genre of music. I think what was the most impressive thing about that performance was the opening one, her playing the flute.
Yeah, when it came on like the invisible thing.
I was like, wait. She's actually playing the flute. That was hype.
And she actually had clothes on, which is like great. So.
Yeah, it's great for everyone. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna talk about some of the awards now. Some hot takes we have about the awards, because I know a couple of us have some opinions about them. First of all, when I was looking up the information about this, there's like Song of the Year and then like there's a Record of the Year, and it looked pretty similar, which is confusing to me. So I had to look that up, and like apparently the Song of the Year goes to like the songwriter, like it's more about like the words of the song, I guess, and the record goes to the artist, and it's more about the performance, I guess. But Thomas, do you have any takes about some awards you feel any way about?
Yes, I do. I don't know how. I get it, Billie Eilish, she's great and everything.
So
but
naive.
Did y'all listen to Ed Sheeran at all this past year? I get it, the collaborations thing. It wasn't just his album.
That's what I was
He
gonna
had
say.
a lot of help from everyone else.
A ton of help.
But but it was his album, you know? That was just masterful. So many hits on that album. I think it was the most slept on album from the last year, and
Might be right.
he's one of the most talented musicians in our generation. And I think it's about time he starts getting a little more respect. But I get it. Y'all are all Billie Eilish, hip hip, where's my hot dog? I get it. But Ed Sheeran got screwed on that award, if you're asking me.
Thomas is talking about the best pop vocal, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's
the
it.
one he
That's
got.
it. Yeah. Sorry if I didn't clarify.
No, you're good. You're right. Like his album was so collaborative. Though. Like it was pretty much half his album, half everybody else, and I feel like that's just unfair from an award standpoint. Don't get me wrong. As a listener, I definitely like the album. Combined a ton of genres that were different. Super cool. But like you can't just like put an Avengers team together and expect to win a Grammy when like this girl's out here 16 years old making albums with her brother, them two, and they're like going at the top of the charts. So I get what you're saying, but like come on, bro. Like Bieber and Ed Sheeran on the same track, like that's like Clay and Steph, like Splash Bros type stuff. Like you can't really reward that, but it was definitely fire. Like I definitely agree.
Yeah. Another one for me, the whole best duo pop group. I get it, Old Town Road, they snapped on their solo, but how long has that song actually been out?
Longer than you'd think.
It's longer than the past year. So why are they still getting awarded for it? Maybe it hasn't. Maybe it
time
hasn't.
periods from like I looked at the time period to make sure I was right on all the stuff, but it's like September to August of the last 2 years.
Oh,
something like that. So it seems a little bit longer ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You gotta think about it as like a past year where it's from like 28. There's a point where it's like 2018 and 2019.
Yeah, that's a little bizarre. I think that there was a couple. I mean, obviously Ariana Grande, Senorita with Shawn Mendes, and then personal favorite Sunflower, Post Malone, Sway Lee. Yeah. That was a tough reward. Obviously, I think Old Town Road was probably the best hit out of all of those. Good for them. But that was just an award that kind of, as far as total top to bottom nominee list, I think that was one of the best total groups.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. The one that really got me mad, you're about to hear me vent everybody, like it's a little bit biased, not gonna lie, but like best R&B song, I went to Say So, which I hadn't even heard of. It was by PJ Morton and JoJo. I looked up the song, I'm not gonna lie, like it was pretty smooth, like it was a good song, but No Guidance was in that category with Drake and Chris Brown. And I'm like, that might be one of the best R&B hits of like the last couple years. Like that's an undeniable duo. Chris Brown and Drake on the track. Can't stop playing that song. Like I just don't see how you beat that doesn't make sense in my brain. I just couldn't. I played the two songs. I listened to it. Like I wasn't just being naive. I listened to the other song. It's a smooth little song. It was fine, but like just not worthy of winning. Moving on to hip hop. Thomas, I'm not gonna lie. This is where I was upset about the R&B song. It's okay, but this one I'm really upset. Not gonna lie. Let's just start off with rap album of the year. Tyler the Creator won for Igor. Everyone knew that. Everyone kind of saw that coming. Listen, I like Tyler the Creator, and I actually like the album Igor. Like I feel like from Earthquake down to like 5 or 6 songs, there's a really good run he had on the album. But it's just simply not rap music to me. Like
I'm not a Tyler guy, so
when you hear, but like if I played the album for you, like it's not rap. Like it's just simply not rap. So I just didn't like seeing him win that. I think who got absolutely robbed, and I was just furious about this for him, is my man Young Thug. So much fun for me personally. I think it was by far the best rap album that came out this year.
Yeah.
I think he got absolutely robbed by not even getting nominated for it. Like it just hurt, and then to see him lose it to someone who barely made a rap album, like it wasn't even rap. Like don't get me wrong, it was good music, good beats, melodies, all that stuff, but like it just was not rap, and it made me mad. I would have liked to see at least a rapper win.
Yeah.
Tyler the Creator is a rapper, but like someone who put out a rap album, a solid rap album, I'd like to see them win, and that was just tough to see. Not gonna lie.
one of the things about the Grammys, the Oscars, who's voting on these? It's not the people. It's not us. You know, we're not voting on this. It's Hollywood. So I want to know how much of this is like politics and what's all going into the voting process, because I can't tell you how many times I sit down and watch the Grammys or the Oscars and I see all these nominees and I don't even know half of them. I mean, part of it's on me, but then I talk to, someone like you and who's really dialed into the pop culture and everything, and I talk to my sisters who really dialed into the pop culture, and they don't even know who this is. And I'm just like, at some point, when are you going to turn over these awards to the people actually listening to it who have a valuable opinion on it? I mean, granted, Hollywood's great for a couple things, but Hollywood's bleeding.
I saw it coming. No, but if you look at the category, best rap album of the year, you have Revenge of the Dreamers, Championships by Meek Mill, 21 Savage, I Am I Was, The Lost Boy, YB and Cordae, and then Igor. Like, the rest of those albums are at least rap albums. I mean, Revenge of the Dreamers was tough because that's another collaborative piece, and I feel like that's almost cheating in these if you have a big collaborative album. But it would just been nice to at least see someone else win. If I had to pick out of those, YB and Cordae definitely had the best album. Another thing about best rap, if you look at best rap song and like the best performance, it was just, I don't want to be that guy to say it, but like R.I.P. Nipsey, obviously. Great guy. Yeah. Hate to see that. Obviously a tragedy, don't get me wrong. But I feel like they just biased it a little too much because of his death. I feel like him winning best rap performance for Hire with DJ Khaled and John Legend, I was just like, I had to look up the song
That's
again.
Another one of those, it's another one of those political awards.
I had to look up the song again. And the best rap song he won again, Racks in the Middle, Nipsey Hussle with Roddy Ricch. I genuinely, I was like, all right, I'm not a huge Nipsey guy, but let me just listen to this and like see what it's all about. And if you look at the other songs for these categories, it's just not fair. Like Drip Too Hard, Panini, Ballin', London. Like these are songs that people are actually listening to. I feel like no one's out here bumping Nipsey Hussle with John Legend. No. Like I feel like it was definitely a cool moment to see his family go up there, and it was awesome seeing him win the award post his death. But I just feel like they played that card a little bit, and it was tough to see for these other artists that I think clearly put out better songs. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. If you look at the best rap performance song, I think that song is better than Clout with Offset and Cardi B. But other than that, Down Bad, Suge, Middle Child, those are bangers that everyone was playing all year. If you look at the song performance, Drip Too Hard, Panini, Ballin', The London, like people are bumping those songs. I feel like those are songs you hear more than the Nipsey John Legend track. So that's how I feel about that. You have any more thoughts about the Grammys?
Yeah, I mean, just the one thing to touch on from my country folk. This whole Tanya Tucker, best country song, Bring Me My Flowers Now. I mean, good song. Again, it's the same thing. It's not a song people are just like, no one falls in love with this song. I mean, it's just one of those like, great lyrics, okay music, but I mean, I think it goes back to the same whole political bias thing. I mean, some of it in Speechless, obviously much bigger hits in front of the whole country community.
I've even heard of some of those.
Yeah, well, Eric Church and Dan and Shay, those are the two that are authors to that song. And then the best country album, don't even get me started on it.
We're getting you started. Let's hear about it.
No, I mean, because While I'm Living, like, there's like one good song on there by Tanya Tucker. I mean, gosh, I get frustrated with these freaking award shows because they don't do it right.
Thomas is sweating if y'all didn't know.
Yeah, it's hot in here. But, I mean, Desperate Man, Eric Church, and then Centerpoint Road, Thomas Rhett. And then you got Reba in there. I mean, just some absolute like legends going on in that nominee category. And I don't think While I'm Living is the best one. I don't think they got the nominees right. And I don't think, no Luke Combs. You know what?
It's tough out here.
Yeah. I'm done with the Grammys, actually.
You're done with the Grammys?
I'm done.
All right, that's me and Thomas' segment of us roasting the Grammys completely. Sorry if you didn't enjoy that, but we're moving on to something that we're actually pretty excited about. 2020 is still pretty young, and we're obviously new to the podcast, so we haven't done anything that's like looking back and looking forward on 2020 and any perspective with the years coming up. So we're doing our list. Me and Thomas both made a top 5 list, top 5 athletes of last decade, so 2010 to 2020, and then we're going to try to predict who we think are going to be the top athletes looking from 2020 to 2030 of the next decade. We don't know each other's lists. We're pretty excited about it because we don't know like what to expect from each other. Maybe some similarities, maybe some differences. So Thomas, without further ado, give me your top athletes of last decade, 5 through 1.
5 through 1. Here we go. At number 5, I have Novak Djokovic. Dominant in the sport of tennis.
Okay.
Now, I know people weren't expecting me to jump out on a tennis player, first one, but credit is deserved right here from Novak Djokovic.
Okay.
15 Grand Slams this decade. 15. That's nuts. That is nuts. He has completely dominated the sport. Obviously, Nadal and Federer, legends in the sport, but Djokovic has...
Definitely had a better decade.
Yeah, Djokovic has taken this sport by the neck, and, out of those 15 Grand Slams, 5 Wimbledons. Wimbledon's obviously the biggest tournament, and then he's dominated in Australia too. I think he's won 6 times there in the last decade. So for me, Novak Djokovic coming in at number 5. Number 4, Conor McGregor.
Ooh.
The freaking Irish man, one of the greatest underdog story, a real live Rocky. I love him. I love his story. I love his wife's story. I love what they're about. Irish blood runs through these veins, and it runs through Conor's too. And to come into the sport, pretty much unknown. He gets his whole career started in about 2007, 2008. And then it's arguable that there isn't a bigger name in the fighting industry in the last 10 years. Obviously, Floyd is going to be there. But I think in the whole fighting, UFC, there's no bigger name than Conor. And I think, stepping into the ring with Floyd only elevated him. Even though he lost, just to go in there and go toe-to-toe with the champ, that was just really cool for the sport and for the whole fighting organization, I think. He was the lightweight and featherweight champion during the last decade. Just super interesting athlete. If you haven't watched Notorious on Netflix, you got to check it out. It's
definitely a must watch.
One of the coolest documentaries out there. And then number 3, Usain Bolt.
Ooh,
I think
our lists are so different.
Wow. Okay. Well, Usain Bolt. I'm looking worldwide. Frick.
Oof.
Say it for me.
Slow down. Worldwide.
Prestige. Worldwide. Got it. And then, so he won the 100 and 200 and 3 consecutive Olympics. Obviously, the first one was in 2008, so it was a little before the decade. But just to assert his dominance in a sport, fastest human alive. Fastest human to ever live, right? Yeah, it's got to be him. To be doing that, and he's 6'5" out of Jamaica. Jamaica, man. Awesome for Usain. Number 3 athlete of the past decade, 100%. Coming in number 2, out of Michigan, we got Tom Brady. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Listen. I don't disagree with you, but just based off how many picks you have left, I'm already hurt. I already disagree with your list. But keep it going.
Okay. Well, you're biased. Anyway, Tom Brady, all he knows is winning. 2 MVP seasons in the last 10 years. He's got 3 Super Bowls and 8 AFC Championship appearances. Another guy who's dominated his sport.
The GOAT.
Yeah, best quarterback of all time. And it's so cool to watch him dominate a sport during our lifetime and while we're growing up playing football. Because we do this, we do this on a day and night. Obviously, we're not in the NFL, but we're in college football, and we know how hard it is, especially here at App, how hard it is to win championships. And what this guy has done, he set an unbelievable precedent that it's going to be very hard for anyone to top in the next, as long as the sport goes on, because of his just dominance. And then number 1 athlete, it goes without saying, LeBron James.
Oh, okay, you scared me.
LeBron's got to be in the top 5, and he's got to be number 1 for me.
LeBron James.
You probably have him in the list. Just to go over a couple of his facts, he's got 3 rings, 2 MVPs, 8 final appearances. Not a great finals record, but just to see, he's done it. I think just with the whole Kobe situation. I think he's going to inspire his team enough to bring home another championship to his organization this year. I think LeBron James is the best athlete. I've watched just to watch him. Basketball is a tough sport, and it takes a tremendous athlete to dominate, especially someone of his age, to invest in his body the way he is. And then just, that was number one.
No, you don't get your honorable mentions.
Okay,
no, not yet.
now.
You can get your honorable mentions later.
Fine.
Dude, you messed up, bro. Like,
where did I mess up?
a lot of places. Give me just the names again.
Novak Djokovic, Conor McGregor, Usain Bolt, and Tom Brady and LeBron James. I mean, obviously the list isn't perfect, but that's just me.
It's not. It's far from perfect. You're missing some key people for one.
Like,
With my list, I personally went like no Olympians. Like Usain Bolt's great, Phelps was great, Simone Biles was great, but I feel like they're not on a national stage enough.
I get it.
For me to see like them being a top 10 athlete, 5 athlete of the decade.
Well, Bolt was the only Olympian I had.
I know he was definitely in my honorable mentions too. I had some Olympians there, but I just decided to cut the Olympians out because they're just not out there too much playing their sport. Your list is all right. I think you're missing a key person. And I'll say it in my list, but I think McGregor. That's a tough one with Floyd because I feel like in the fighting world, Floyd kind of has it on lock. If you look especially in the past, from the decade from the beginning to end. But I'll just give you my list now, starting from 5. Number 5, I have Steph Curry. You're silent. He shook. 5 finals, won 3 of them, 2 MVPs, and he simply changed the game of basketball by himself with what he's done with the 3-point shot and what he's reinvented the game literally by himself.
He's a North Carolina guy. I'm not going to be bad.
Ever since then, we've been seeing clones of him come through the league and people trying to play that way. And I think he single-handedly pretty much got us to the point where we're in basketball where the floor has been stretched. I think even off the court, which is a big factor in my list too, is people's effect off the court. His family is famous. His wife doing her thing on her thing with cooking and all of that. I think that overall, number 5. Number 4, you're gonna be happy with this one. I have Messi on here.
Yeah, he should be. He's my honorable mention.
What's the award called? The
Balloon d'Or.
So yeah, he has. Don't know how to pronounce that, but
Balloon d'Or.
He has 6 of those. 5 of them were won in that decade. The face of Barcelona. He stayed there the entire time, which is a rare thing in soccer, and I think that's a cool thing to do, and it's a very important thing as far as longevity and your legacy as a career. So I have him at number 4. Definitely a worldwide renowned guy, like you were saying.
Definitely the best soccer player.
Yeah, he can go anywhere, and he's going to be recognized and praised. I think I was talking to Noah about this, one of our roommates. If you look at this list, I feel like a good way to judge this list is like if you saw them in the airport, like how crazy would you go? Like, oh my God, that's that guy. And I feel like your list is good in that sense. Like if you saw McGregor in the airport or like LeBron, like it'd be crazy.
Well, I think, for me, being a soccer guy, I really think Messi is a top 5 athlete.
Yeah.
But I think what he's been doing, he's going to live through the decade. I think these guys right here, they peaked. I mean, obviously, I think Messi peaked in the decade, but he started his career before the decade, had a lot of achievements before the decade, kind of like Tom Brady.
Okay.
I get where you're coming from, though.
All right, number 3, I do have who you just mentioned, Tom Brady. Not a huge Tom Brady guy, but real recognized. 2 MVPs, 5 Super Bowl appearance, won 3 of them. Shout out my Giants for those 2 L's. And off the field, like I said, he's just promoting health, doing it at the age he's doing it. His wife, obviously Giselle, they're on a big stage. Tom Brady, undoubtedly number 3, the GOAT in football, and we're seeing it in that decade. Number 2, I have someone who you left out, and I'm hurt. You left out Serena Williams, bro. Like
she's an honorable mention.
That's my number 2, my guy. That's the GOAT of tennis. Like, Novak is great, but that's the LeBron James of tennis. That's the GOAT of tennis. Most Grand Slams, male or female, most Grand Slams. Don't know how you missed that one. 23 of them. 10 of them were in this decade, and she was 30 years, over 30.
I like the Serbian accent, okay?
God, Serena is like that, bro. Golden singles, golden doubles, won this decade for sure. Had a baby, took it like a champ.
She took a baby like a champ. I get it. Fashion
icon, inspiring women across the world.
Look,
it's like cat suit, Virgil off-white tennis suit. Like it's Serena, man. Like, look, I don't know how you missed that one.
I love Serena to death. I think she's a tremendous athlete.
Clearly not.
She is, but I look at it like this: who else in the women's tennis has even come close to competing with her? She's dominated. She's been the only one there because there is no other up and coming other than, we'll get to this later, Coco Gauff. But there is not another huge name. Obviously, like her sister, there's Saforovich or one of those Russian, Slovenian girls. She's all right, but there's been no competition with Serena is my big thing.
There has been, bro.
Novak's been a top of a three-headed monster with Nadal and Federer. LeBron obviously having to deal with Kobe and then Giannis and then just all these James Harden, all these different generations of players. For me, for them to Messi, that was a great one because he's had to rival Ronaldo his whole career and being compared to Ronaldo. Who's Serena been compared against? You know, that's just kind of the thing when I was deciding to keep her out of the top 5.
Well, she doesn't choose her competition. It's not her fault that she steps on the court and people are scared and don't want to play her. She had her thing with Sharapova for a little bit, but I think she won her rivalry there, fair and square. And it's not Serena's fault that no one can compete with her. Number 1, I obviously have LeBron James, 8 finals, won 3 of them. I think the fact that he took some of those teams he did to the finals was insane, especially those Cleveland teams that he simply just put on his back. I don't know if any other athlete could do that. 2 MVPs, most points out of the decade. If you just look at pure numbers, has all the points. And then if you even look at off the court, making his own school, all the work he does in his community, the more than an athlete thing, he's all over the place on and off the court. Definitely the athlete of the decade and is going to go down as one of the all-time greats. My honorable mentions, I have Mike Trout. Didn't have him on the list because his team is simply sorry. They're not good, and I just don't think he's going to be extremely relevant just because of the team he's on. He's not going to see success. And then I have Simone Biles, Usain Bolt, and Phelps, all great athletes, won their gold medals, great for them, but I just think the Olympics aren't often enough to keep them relevant to be in the top 5 list for me. And I had Novak on there too. If I had to put a tennis player in the top 5 that wasn't female, it'd be Novak because I think Serena just took over the entire world of tennis. Who are your honorable mentions?
Obviously, I had Serena in there. Sorry to piss you off. I didn't put Serena in there, but I gave my reasoning behind it. And then I had... Who did I have? I had Serena Williams. I had Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. They were both on the outskirts right there for me.
For sure. All right, we're going to move to our predictions for the...
Oh! I had Tiger Woods as well. Just for his comeback story. I mean, he peaked in his 2000s, but... to win the Masters last year,
great comeback story. Yeah. I feel the same way, but not enough to be athlete of the decade. We're gonna move on to the next 10 years. Who we're gonna project to pretty much run the next decade from 2020 to 2030? Who do we see being those athletes? I'm gonna get it started, starting from my 5. Number 5, I have your boy Kylian Mbappe at number 5. Only 21 years old. And I feel like if you just look at the age of Messi and Ronaldo and those big soccer stars, I feel like their time is about to run out, and I feel like it's perfect timing with him coming up. He clearly made a splash in the World Cup when he played, and he has many World Cups in front of him, and at only 21 years old, I think he's going to shine for sure and be the next premier soccer star that kids are looking up to and everyone around the world is going to be loving. Number 4, I have Luka Doncic, 20 years old, international guy, obviously. Already in MVP contention this year. He'd be the youngest person to win it. I don't know if he's going to win it, but the fact that he's in contention at such a young age, crazy. Love watching the guy play personally. Triple-double god, can do it on the court. Already signed to Jordan. I think he's going to have a lot of international appeal as well. And I think he's just in a position to succeed, and I feel like his team is going to build a team around him for where they could be successful in the next decade if you look at some of the LeBrons and the older people in the league taking a step back and coming towards the end of their career. Number 3, I have Patrick Mahomes, who we talked about earlier. He already has an MVP under his belt at 24 years old. He's going to be talented no matter what. That arm he has attached to his body is going to keep him relevant for a long time. And like I said before, as the Rodgers and the Roethlisbergers and the Bradys and those guys take their last years in the league, I feel like it's going to be his time to elevate. And I just see him elevating as the top guy. And he's in a position to succeed to where a lot of his competition in the AFC is going to get older and older. And it's just going to be in a perfect place for him to succeed and be that guy for football. Number 2, I have Coco Gauff. I mean, I think the biggest thing with her is going to be her age. And when this decade ends, she's going to be 25 because she's only 15 years old and she's already doing big things. Mm-hmm. So I feel like just from the trajectory she's at, just based off of her age, she's going to kill it by the time. Yeah. By the time we get in 2-3 years, she's going to be killing it. She's still going to have 7 more years to go in the decade. Right. So she's my number 2. And number 1, I have Giannis. Giannis has already won the MVP, and I just feel like out of everyone, he's just in the best position to win. He's so good at 25 years old, and we've seen basketball players play some of their best years in their 30s, so I'm not worried about his age at all. And I just feel like he has that international appeal. Everyone loves him. Signed with Nike, he has his first shoe out. And I just feel like he's in a position to win, especially in the East, to where he's going to get surrounded by weapons the more and more he plays if he decides to stay there. I just feel like he's going to be extremely relevant and have a couple more MVPs, and he's going to be that guy as far as it goes when LeBron's time is over, I think. That's my list.
That's a very good list. We have a lot of similarities.
Wow, really?
And Kaiden and I did not collaborate on these lists at all, which is kind of cool to hear him say very similar names. There are little differences, a lot of the same, but
Let's hear it.
at number 5 I got Patty Mahomes.
Solid.
I don't know if he will be able to win as many Super Bowls as Tom Brady, but he will always have his team in contention.
Exactly.
He will always have his team in the playoffs, and I think he gets his first Super Bowl this weekend. Number 4, I have Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas is currently ranked number 4 in the world in golf. He just made his pro debut in 2017. He is number 1. He's the number 1 American, and he is an unbelievable talent on the golf course.
I'm yawning.
You don't have to love golf. You don't have to like golf. But just know Justin Thomas is the next big thing in the sport of golf. At number 3, I have Coco Gauff. Just beating number 3 in the world as a 15-year-old. That's unheard of. She's going to dominate the sport, not just for the next 5 years, not just for the next 10 years. She's going to dominate the sport.
She might win both decades.
Yeah, honestly, for the next... We'll be talking about her in 2020 or 2030.
Stay tuned for our podcast in 2030.
Yeah, Coco will be on. And I just think what she's doing at such a young age is, if she doesn't get burned out and she stays healthy, she'll be doing this for a long time at an elite level. Number 2, Luka Doncic. Unbelievable talent.
Yep.
Absolutely must-watch TV if you're an NBA guy. I love his underdog story getting passed on by some teams who he really could have changed their organization. Instead, he goes to a great organization like the Mavericks. He's got talent around him. I think they surround him with enough talent to where he can get some NBA titles in Dallas. If not, I see him moving out west.
He can be successful anywhere, yeah.
He's going to be a very marketable guy when and if his contract runs out. I don't know if Mark Cuban will let him go, but number 2 on my list. Number 1, Mbappe Frappe. Kylian Mbappe. This guy is unbelievable. If you don't follow soccer, you're wrong, because this guy is unbelievable. Coming in, playing in his first World Cup at 19 years old, helping his team to a World Cup, arguably the MVP of that France team.
Yeah.
He was absolutely unreal. And to get outside of that, what he's doing in club soccer, coming off of AC Monaco, he scored 27 goals there, and now he's at PSG scoring 60 goals already. He's 21 years old, y'all. Pretty much everyone listening to this is over 21, and what have you done with your life? Because I know I haven't done close to what Kylian Mbappe has done.
It hurts seeing him at 19 years old doing things I'm not even close to achieving.
Unbelievable. Goals before 21, Raul, Legend, and Aguero, they're around the 60 to 70 mark. Kylian Mbappe is 21 right now, and he has over 100 goals and counting right now. Unbelievable. He is going to be a superstar for a long, long time. Number 1 athlete for the decade.
I agree. I see what you're saying with that. I definitely had him in my top 5 for sure because of the talent. Do you have any honorable mentions that you like, that you barely left off? Wanted to mention anybody?
I mean, Giannis. You mentioned him. I didn't really come up with an honorable mention list, though. Did you?
I wanted to put Zion on there so bad, but I just couldn't buy into the hype, the Zion hype that everyone else.
I agree.
I simply haven't seen enough from him. You could catch me at the end of this NBA season, and I might have Zion on this list, but I just couldn't put him above people that have proven too much.
Yeah, I think our list, both of them are guys that are established.
Yeah, already at a young age. For
exactly.
Sure. I had Lamar as an honorable mention too. I thought about sliding him into the list.
LeVar Ball?
Lamar Jackson.
Oh.
Nah, Lamar. I feel like he's in such a perfect situation right now that if in the next 10 years he's in any other different situation, I feel like it's just not going to work out for him. Versus Mahomes could put any team in the league on his back just with his arm talent. But I feel like Lamar's been put in a perfect situation, perfect weapons around him, perfect coaching staff. I feel like he's just in such a unique situation. It's not guaranteed he's going to be with that team in the next 10 years or if that formula is going to work the next 10 years. So I just had to leave him out. But definitely an honorable mention guy.
That's all for me.
Well, I'm excited about the next podcast. I feel like this one was a good one. One for the books for sure. Thank you guys for listening so much again. Keep liking, subscribe, and listen whenever you can, wherever you can. We really appreciate you guys. Trust it from the bottom of our heart. That's the end of this episode. I'm Kaiden.
I'm Thomas.
And we'll see y'all next time.
The situations that I grew up in was tragic. I had to hop up off the porch, I had to have it. I seen them dope boys in that Porsche, I had to have it. My shooter birthday, I bought him an automatic. I seen his face, he anxious, he can't wait to